All right. We're back. Wayne Allyn Roots. Back. We got Josh Manning with us. Josh is the editor-at-large at Western Journal. The website's westernjournal.com. And he's with us, I assume, as usual, in his man cave. Hey, Josh, there you are. Man cave, gun cave, all the above. Just like communists merge with Muslims, now we've got you, man cave merging with a gun cave. I like it.
Well, with communists merging with Muslims, it is more important than ever, men of America, to have an arsenal. That's what I would say. Wayne, I said this earlier today on X, on Twitter. It is the strangest time to be an American. I never would have expected in my lifetime to offer multiple Jewish friends a little bit of the land that I own here in rural Arkansas in case they want to retreat, in case it gets too bad. But I have offered multiple Jewish friends the opportunity to come down here and just get to a safe spot if they need to. This is in America, Wayne. You're exactly right in the last segment where you were talking about this is how it started in Germany. This is how it started in Germany. And
again in Germany now.
Potentially worse here. And again in Germany. It will all across Europe, man. I mean, God help Europe's Jewry. I mean, they've gone through this once before. And, you know, this also has brought home something else to me, Wayne. I wasn't always convinced that anti-Zionism was anti-Semitism. But man, I am getting pretty darn close because it is clear without a homeland, the Jewish people of the world will be exterminated. It's only a matter of time. So if you try to deny them a homeland, you are consigning them to extermination. We want to talk about genocide. That's what's coming for the Jewish people if they don't have a home. So every day, I think I'm getting closer and closer to accepting that premise. Anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism.
Well, it's more than that, Josh, because if it was just that, you could make that argument. But it's much more than that, because I watch these people. I don't see anyone who's like, you know, Mr. Root, I love Jews. I love the Jewish people. I welcome the Jewish people. I have my arms open for the Jewish people. I have so many Jewish friends. My daughter's married to a Jewish man. I'm just not a fan of the government of Israel. That's not what any of them are saying. They're saying we don't like Jews. This is pure anti-Semitism. I see it in the mouth, the facial expressions, the anger of all the people against Israel. They hate Jews, period. Look at the guy running for office in Florida, Dan Bilzerian. Have you seen the things he says? These are sick people, man.
Oh, yes. That was an unbelievable ad. I can't believe someone produced the ad. If we're talking about the same thing here, I mean, this is it is something I couldn't remember his name. This is something you would see back in 1930s
Nazi Germany. Right.
The only thing that was missing was a giant hooked nose. That was the only thing that was missing, and that's what showed up.
And the line, we must exterminate them. And the line, we must exterminate them. That was the only thing missing, really, was we must exterminate them. That's how close it was to a Nazi TV ad in Florida by a Republican candidate who's nuts, named Dan Bilzerian, famous celebrity, by the way, who is known for, like, you know, having sex with like 50 women at the same time because his daddy's rich and his daddy's in hiding, I believe, in a foreign country because his daddy's accused of stealing hundreds of millions of dollars in some sort of stock scam. So he lives in a foreign country with the money and gives his son all the money to sit around with 50 women on a yacht all day, and now he's decided to run for office and make his whole campaign about hatred for Jews. It's so bizarre. You think you're making this up. It's got to be a fictional movie, right?
You know, he did accomplish something that I thought was impossible until now. He actually got Hakeem Jeffries to come out and condemn some form of anti-Semitism.
Along with Mike Johnson. It was a joint. Yes.
Yes. Well, I'm not surprised about the Republican element of that. I mean, that better
No, but we've never had them agree before on anything. It's not that Hakeem did it. It's that they agree on something. It's the only Republicans and Democrats have ever agreed on, leaderships ever agreed on, is that this guy's a racist, hateful, Jew-hating scumbag. That's the only thing they've all agreed on. And don't give any credit to Hakeem Jeffries. You know why he did it? Because Bilzerian is running as a Republican. Right.
Exactly.
So it was easy. It was easy for Hakeem Jeffries to do it. Don't forget, he's never condemned all the Democrats who say horrible things about Jews. He only condemned the Republican who said horrible things about Jews. So that was easy. It's Mike Johnson that's ballsy for stepping out and doing it.
I can't wait to see the Red-Green Alliance endorse this Republican. It's the only Republican, so-called Republican, they've ever found who they will like based solely on his hatred of Jews. But, Wayne, I think you would agree with this. All of this was under the surface before October 7th. But the second thing about all of this is that the catalyst for all of this coming out is what? The catalyst for it is Hamas attacking innocent Jews, making Jewish family members have sex with each other, in front of each other, putting power tools, putting grenades, there's a case of this, in a woman's intimate area. Hamas does that to the Jews. Israel responds to it, and that's what surfaces this evil hatred. Yeah, I mean, it is so sick. It is so
You left out one really bad part. You left out one really bad part.
Oh, there are more, but what?
Here's what you left out. That when Israel responds, first of all, they drop leaflets and say, leave the area. We're about to bomb it. No one ever did that in world history. The United States never does it. They drop leaflets and say, please leave. And then when they bomb it, the reason that women and children are killed, first they give them a chance to leave. They told them it was happening. Why did the women and children stay? Because they were held at gunpoint by Hamas, who wanted them to die as human shields. No one's ever done that. Nazis never used the German populace as human shields once, ever, in any reported case, as sick as Nazis were. So this is a level of sickness beyond even Nazis, and the world condemns the Jews. It's incredible.
I don't know if you saw the interview with the DSA co-chair a week or two ago with the New Yorker, and the guy conducting the interview for the New Yorker asked her about the DSA's position on Israel. And she said, well, we are for a single state, Palestinian state with the capital in Jerusalem. So
they want a single state solution. They want to wipe out the Jews, in other words.
Also known as the final solution. Exactly.
Right.
But then
again,
he went on. Sorry.
Oh, I'm just going to say, for people who even for people who claim that's not a big deal, because, hey, forget about Israel. I care only about America. I get it. I'm America first, too.
Sure.
So even if you don't care about that, if Israel's wiped off the face of the earth, they're not stopping at that. Anyone who wants Israel to be wiped off the face of the earth will kill every Jew in America. Once they've killed or enslaved every Jew in America, then they're coming after Christians. You may not get that yet. Maybe people don't understand that. They come for the Jews first. They always come for the Christians second. Maybe you don't get that. Jesus Christ was a Jew, in case you didn't know. They're going to come for you next.
Yeah, there are so many Christians who don't understand what's going on. I'm working slowly on an article about all of that. There are so many who don't understand. I thought that DSA interview, not to drag us back, but just one more note on it, it was so interesting because the New Yorker interviewer asked her after that, he said, well, what about in 2000 when Arafat was offered 96, 97, 98% of what he asked for? And she had no idea what he was talking about. She had no idea Clinton had gathered Arafat and Ehud Barak there and had jawboned Ehud Barak.
And Israel agreed to that deal, right? They agreed to that deal.
Yes, they offered them 98% of what they wanted, and they wouldn't take it. And Wayne, you and I know the reason. Because it's not about the land. It's about Jew killing. That is what
no, that's not the whole
That's
reason. That's not the only reason.
They care about.
No. You got it slightly wrong. They love Jew killing. You're right about that. They love money, too. This is about money, too. In other words, we could go back to Arafat or you could go today.
I don't know.
The leaders of Hamas, there's like 10 of them, live in Qatar. They're all billionaires while the people starve in Gaza. If you ended the war tomorrow, all the fighting between the Jews and the Palestinians, and you let Palestinians have their own homeland, there'd be no need for Hamas anymore. All the billionaires would not be making billions anymore. Arafat was not only a billionaire, but he was a gay billionaire who was screwing men. This is your leadership. They steal your money, and then they sit around and they do whatever they're going to do with it, and they commit sexual perversions according to Islam, and they claim they're your leader. Believe me, Arafat made a living. It was an industry for him. His wife lived in a fancy, while he was gay, he had a wife who lived in a fancy apartment in Paris, and she spent hundreds of millions of dollars on clothing and shoes and furs. That's the money that should have been given to the Palestinian people, and instead it went to Arafat. So they will always love killing Jews. They're brought up to do it, but they all want to steal the money that war and conflict creates. And if there's no more conflict, the world won't send any more money.
But bring in, I hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree about the top leadership there, but man, they could have turned it into Dubai. And there's billions and billions and billions of dollars there, but they didn't want to do that because, well, for one, they're savages and lawbreakers, but again, more importantly, they just want to kill Jews.
Right.
It is unreal. And if these people, if these leftists and anti-Semites in America, if they actually cared about Palestinian kids, which they always say they do, if they actually cared about them, they would tell Israel, you scorch that earth, end this permanently, and that will save thousands and thousands and ultimately hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of Palestinian children on down the road. But the more Israel dithers on this, and they're not dithering, they're being strong, but the longer they refuse to absolutely eliminate all of Hamas, the more Palestinian children will die. That is the pure math on it. Anybody who says, who's educated and says Palestinian kids are what they're concerned about is a liar, complete liar. And they're misleading other people.
And by the way, even if we forget about the fact that they're being held as human shields, and that's the reason women and children, if any of them died, that's the reason they died. But let's get beyond that for a minute. Let's just say that everybody watching right now lives in a nice village in New Jersey. And let's just say a neighboring group from a neighboring town comes and they rape all your women and they gang rape your daughters and then they shoot them in the head and they set them on fire and they cut babies' heads off and they stick a baby in a microwave and they stick a grenade in your wife's vagina and all that happens. Would you not go back in the other town and murder everyone? That's not murder. That's self-defense. That's revenge. It's not murder. Of course we would. The United States has done it a million times. After Pearl Harbor, what do? We firebombed Japan. We firebombed Germany. We killed everyone. Then we dropped 2 atomic bombs. It was always remember Pearl Harbor. If you get attacked first, you in return go and kill everyone. It's called scorched earth. We've done it again and again in America's history. Do you remember the movie with Mel Gibson about the American Revolution? Remember that movie?
Oh, yeah, The Patriot.
Remember he was such a calm guy, and then he had to explain to his children they'd never seen the real him when he was younger, that after the British killed and raped all of them, him and his guys went with tomahawks and destroyed them and cut their heads off and carved sayings into their bodies and just completely tortured and mutilated the British soldiers. That's what Americans have done when they're attacked in history. So the Israelis, the only group not allowed to attack back after someone does horrific things to your women? Are you kidding me? So it's only natural what we did in response, we being Israel. I'm not we, I'm America, but I'm just saying in general as a Jew, what Israel did was a very natural response in warfare. And I've never seen anyone else criticized for it except Jews. It seems like the world is happier when Jews are being raped and murdered and enslaved than when Jews fight back.
Oh, yeah, they absolutely are. They absolutely are. But what did that firebombing lead to? What did Hiroshima and Nagasaki lead to? They led to peace and massive prosperity in Japan. What did the firebombing of Dresden, what did it lead to? It led to
peace and prosperity.
Peace and incredible prosperity. Germany is the engine of the European economy. You can do that. We can rebuild all of it. And I don't mean nation building. All you have to do is kill the bad guys, break the back of the anti-civilizational forces, and rebuild using essentially an American model with Western, what we call liberal democracy. It's not leftist democracy. But anyway, yeah, you can get peace. You can get prosperity. But they don't want that. The Palestinians don't want that. They want to kill Jews. And the Egyptian, I mean, you want to look at a wall I love the wall between Egypt and the Palestinians. That is Berlin would be proud. That it beggars Berlin.
And I'm sure we help pay for it, because I know in the past we have given foreign money to Jordan and Egypt to build walls to protect them. At the same time, the Congress wouldn't give Trump a dime to build our wall with Mexico to protect us.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't want them. They are the jetsam and flotsam of the Middle East. No one wants the Palestinians because they are violent, retrogressive, 7th century medieval barbarians.
And for another reason, they're lazy and they want welfare for life. They were lazy and they want welfare for life. Nobody wants to pay for them, because every country they go to, they create revolution and they demand no work and welfare all day long for the rest of their lives, from cradle to grave. That's why nobody wants the Palestinians. So don't blame the Jews. There's not one Muslim nation that wants to take in one Palestinian. They want nothing to do with them.
Yeah, and you know who takes in Palestinians? Israel. What is it? What's the number, Wayne? Is it 2 million? Yeah.
Well, there's 2 million Arabs.
Israel.
I don't know if all of them are Palestinians, but there's 2 million Arabs living in Israel. I know that.
Yes.
And they're treated better. Female Arabs are treated better in Israel than in any Muslim nation in the world. That's the irony.
Healthcare, law enforcement, rights, all of the prosperity, all of the things they don't get in God. You can be a sodomite if you want to. And so it's the weirdest damn genocide you'll ever see, Wayne, where the country committing the genocide provides free food, shelter, housing, and health care for as many of the genocide victims as want to cooperate with them. It's the strangest case of genocide ever.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be back more with Josh Manning. I'm Wayne Allyn Root. This is Warzone Live. Quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, the latest sponsor of our show, brand new, hot off the presses, Zastava Arms. Zastava Arms began 170 years ago in Serbia. Today, Zastava is one of the world's most recognized names in military and sporting firearms. Many gun experts say they make the best AK-47 semi-automatic rifles in the world. And no Zastava product is more legendary than the M70, the battle-proven AK rifle. In 2018, Zastava Arms USA was born. Serbian-American entrepreneur Ranko Ristic brought Zastava Arms directly to American gun owners, who quickly discovered what generations of shooters around the world already knew. Zastava builds the best AK rifles in the world. Zastava Arms USA quickly earned a reputation for quality, durability, reliability, earning Gun Importer of the Year. One of the most recognizable Zastava rifles in America is the Z-PAP, the sporting version of the M70. This semi-automatic sporting rifle has a simple reputation. It's built like a tank. It features a 1.5 millimeter receiver, 50% thicker than the standard AK receiver, U.S.-made, cold hammer forged chrome-lined barrel, longer hand guards, flip-up night sights, and grenade gas cutoff, all original factory standard issue on this amazing weapon. Those heavy-duty features have a purpose. The original military M70 platform was engineered to withstand the additional stresses associated with launching rifle grenades. Today, that heritage lives on in the Z-PAP family. More than 170 years of manufacturing experience goes into the name on the side of every rifle. Zastava Z-PAP. Built like a tank, built to be used, built to last. Discover the Z-PAP family at ZastavaArmsUSA.com. That's ZastavaArmsUSA.com. All right, back with Josh Manning, editor-at-large, Western Journal, westernjournal.com. Josh, we're on this topic of Muslims, so let's stay on this topic of radical Islamic losers and terrorists who don't belong in the United States, and let's move to Michigan U.S. Senate candidate Abdul El Sayed. What an incredible nightmare that this guy's allowed to run for office. You know, there was a McCarran Act that banned Muslims from running for office and foreigners, and I think that we need to go back to it. Communists and Muslims. This guy, Al Sayed's mother, worked for an organization that funded Osama bin Laden, and we want to put him in as a United States Senator.
Yeah, the Democrat Party wants to put him in, and the DSA wants to put him in, and leftists want to put him in, and white wine moms want to put him in, and awfuls want to put him in. Yeah, so talking about his mom, he said, I'm going to quote this, he said, "She taught me so much about both how to stand with others and how to stand alone." And it turns out she stood with others from 1999 to 2004, I think it was. She worked for the Islamic American Relief Agency, the IARA. Now, these guys, the U.S. Treasury designated them for supporting terrorism, including direct financial support for not only bin Laden, but the Taliban and Hamas. So this is the person who taught him so much about how to stand and how to stand with others and how to stand alone and how to kill Jews. The last part I added, he didn't actually say that. I'm just talking about what he
that
thinks.
is the truth. You know it's the truth. Come on.
It's the
we
truth.
know it.
Yeah.
It may be,
exactly.
Assumed, but we know it.
Yeah, and so this is, again, you said it, this is who they want to put in the U.S. Senate. You are exactly right about bringing back legislation that bans people like this from running for office. I'll take it a step further, Wayne. I think what we need to do, we're never going to get a modification to the First Amendment that that cuts out Islam. But what we could do is pass legislation that that says no organization that punishes people who leave it, that punishes apostates, can be classified as a religion in the United States. And that gets rid of not just Islam, we get a twofer. Who else does it get rid of? Scientologists. So we can get them too. But we basically need to outlaw any organization that punishes apostates. That's
don't
one
get
of the
too
ways
hung
we
up
can
on
get at this.
But Josh, don't get too hung up on free speech and the First Amendment, because you're like, listen, there's nothing that will ever, ever, ever be allowed as an exception to the First Amendment. Well, think about the open of my show, right? When O'Rourke and the other guy go to Minnesota dressed as Muslim women, and they actually film the fact that our elections are being stolen, and they're even being stolen if you tell them the voter is a Hamas militant terrorist, and you publish that clip on TikTok, they ban you. They ban you, and the Secretary of State, not Secretary of State, Attorney General of Minnesota threatens to arrest you for exposing the truth. So, in fact, free speech on our side is already no longer free. So why can't we make it not free on their side? We already have no free speech. Wayne Root had no free speech. They banned me from Twitter before it was X. They banned me. They banned me because of I believed in the 2020 election was stolen, and I believe the COVID vaccine was poison. For those two reasons, they banned me for life from Twitter till Elon Musk came back, renamed it X, and put me back on. And since then, I've been completely shadow banned. I'm on, but no one can see anything I say.
Yeah,
there is no free speech in America.
Yeah, tell me about
it. Not for conservatives.
We woke up one morning and Facebook had cut off, and Facebook supplied the vast majority of our readers. Facebook had cut
at Western
off
Journal.
Western Journal had cut off 90% of our traffic. 90%. We woke up and it was gone.
Right.
That is censorship. There is no, to your point, there is no free speech as long as these big for conservatives. The same thing's happening like the WNBA Reddit. They've banned references. They filter out references to Sophie Cunningham.
She doesn't exist anymore.
I went back and looked at her quote. What she said is, hang on here. It's kind of common sense. I think it's really important to protect children. That's what she said. And we got to remember the people who banned her, the people who hate her for this, what do they claim to care about? They claim to care about pedophiles, getting rid of pedophiles. There are pedophiles all over D.C. Now, there was a group of people who was talking about that long before the leftists were. There are pedophiles all over D.C., but they're talking specifically about Donald J. Trump, who obviously is not a pedophile, who is one of the only people who saw what Epstein was doing and called law enforcement on him. But they say, oh, he's a pedophile. Oh, he's a pedophile, and we have to protect children. Then Sophie Cunningham comes out and says, I think it's kind of common sense. I think it's really important to protect children. And what do? They ban her.
No, they deleted her. They deleted her.
There is no free speech for concern. Well, it's trying to come back.
Christians.
But there is no restriction on speech for the left. They get to say and censor anybody they want. That must be, I mean, imagine if we had that power, Wayne. Imagine how easy it would be to win. Trump wins in 2024 when MRC afterwards says 92% of the coverage was negative. He wins in 2016 when it was 97% of journalists gave to Hillary Clinton, not him. Imagine if the playing field were fair. Well, they would never get in power. That's why they cheat.
Listen, it's a miracle that we control the presidency, the Senate, the House, the Supreme Court, a majority of governorships, and a majority of state legislators, an overwhelming majority of state legislatures, considering the fact that, A, the media is 90 to 97% against us and lies about us, and fake news makes up everything about us and calls us terrible names, but also we have a hard sell and we're still winning. Do you know how hard it is to sell capitalism and how easy it is to sell, we're going to give you everything free? That's the easiest sale in the world. Can you imagine if I go door to door and say everything's free? You know, knock on the door, ring the bell. Everything is free. Well, they're all going to take free. It's like I've said for years what a joke Obamacare is. They made it like Obama was a god because he put in Obamacare. Anybody could say, I'm going to steal from A, like Robin Hood, and give to B, and B's going to support you. That's all he did. He didn't make up new money. No new money exists. He just said, Wayne Root's fee is tripled, and all of you get it free. Wow, is Obama brilliant. Wow, did he come up with a great trick. I mean, it's a joke. Giving away free stuff is popular. Duh, really?
It's so perverse, too, because what did they say? They said it was going to make healthcare affordable. What did it do? It skyrocketed premiums. It's like the Inflation Reduction Act. The Inflation Reduction Act. That is, whoever wrote that title should be struck by lightning. I don't want to tell God how to do his job, and I wouldn't presume to. But I tell you what, if I had lightning bolts at my disposal, whoever that liar is would be getting zapped. That is the biggest lie ever. And what they do, we're talking about God, my old pastor used to say, they use our words, but their dictionary. They use our words, but their dictionary. And that is so true. Control of language has always been part of the left's MO because they know they can't win with the truth. I want to put you in bondage. I want to make you slaves. I want to starve you. That's what the commissars were doing. And, of course, they never said that. What they said is we're going to bring in the new socialist man, the new Soviet man, and there will be plenty, and the brotherhood of man will take over, and we'll abolish these evil capitalists.
Equality.
Well, you know what? Capitalists aren't that great, but they're better than anything else we've got, and they've lifted more people out of poverty in the last 50 years than the previous 5,000 combined. That's what capitalism has done. Is the system perfect? No, no system is perfect. Of course not. It's made of humans. But it's better than anything else we've come up with. They ought to shut up and enjoy the benefits of this society without trying to knock the supports out from under it. But instead, what do? They use their iPhones. They use their extreme leisure. They use the money that comes from hardworking people like you and me to spend their time as activists trying to destroy the foundation of the system, of the country, of the ideology that gave them all of those things. It is perverse and degenerate.
It's not just capitalism that's great, because England supposedly has capitalism, Germany has capitalism, Europe has capitalism. American capitalism works the best in the history of civilization.
Yep.
And they come here from every other country in the world that sucks, and their lives are miserable, and they're willing to do anything to get here, even break in illegally. And once they get here, they want to go back and turn us into a socialist nation. How does that make any sense to anyone?
Well, have you seen the meme going around talking about how to pronounce the designation of people from Somalia? It's apparently Somali, not Somalian. And there's this meme going around preaching about that. And I'm sitting there thinking, wait a minute, you come to my country, you rob us blind, you take money that actually should be paying down a debt that my kids and grandkids are going to have to support. And you have the audacity to tell me how to pronounce your nationality when it's on the other side of effectively the other side of the world. And you think I should care? I don't care how people pronounce American in Somalia. I know they curse us actually in Somalia while they want to come here. I couldn't care less. Call us whatever you want. But if you come here, when in Rome, at least don't preach to the people about how wonderful your people are when they are a bunch of retrogressive pirates who have not produced anything for the world. They have not made the world better in one single way outside of their own borders. It is absolutely insane that they would presume to lecture you or me, Wayne.
Right.
You and I produce value every single day. That's why we get paid. We produce value that people want, and that's how we get paid. Somalis don't produce any value.
By the way, Somalia is an insult to third world. Somalia is a fourth world. You know what hole? Fourth world.
It's a failed state.
They're not even third world. Third world is like Cuba. And when Cubans come to America, some of them actually are very nice people. I like Cubans. Not the communist kind, but the capitalist kind. But Somalians, they're fourth world. They make Cuba look wonderful. They're like Haiti. Haiti and Somalia are in the same category, man. It's just fourth world crap holes, nightmares. Yeah. Hey, Josh, our time is up. Our time is up because my hour is up. I have no more time to spend with you, or I would. I'd extend it, but our time is up. So we got to say goodbye to Josh Manning, editor-at-large, Western Journal. The website is westernjournal.com, and we appreciate all you do, Josh Manning. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for what you do, Wayne.